Hi, I'm Dr. Stephen Thain, and I'm a doctor of chiropractic, and I'm the clinic director of Weight Loss Bellevue. And we are an Ideal Protein certified facility. And what I want to do today is introduce the Ideal Protein program to you, explain it to you, give you some opportunity to understand how this program can make such a change and a transformation in your life. So with that, let me go ahead and get started. The first thing I'd like to talk about is what Ideal Protein can bring to you and what's involved with it. Well, first of all, it is a nutritional ketosis program. Now, when we say the word ketosis, a lot of people don't know what that means. And so we'll go through and explain that in detail you. But first of all, let me explain it is called nutritional ketosis. There's a big difference between what we call a do-it-yourself keto and a medically monitored nutritional ketosis program. The benefit of nutritional ketosis is we have amazing weight loss. And here's the main key. You lose fat and not lean mass. Every program you do, you will lose some lean mass. And even with this Ideal Protein program, there will be some lean mass loss. What we want to do is minimize the lean mass loss and, of course, maximize the weight lost through fat. So that is one of the focuses of this program and one of the main benefits. It is delivered to you through healthcare professionals, and we do have certified Ideal Protein coaches. So you're being taught by somebody who knows the program, and we have an incredible scientific team at Ideal Protein with, if there's any specific conditions or problems that we're not even familiar with, we will have access to specialists and scientists to know how to help us to make sure the program works for you. It is proven and it is safe. That's one of the great things about Ideal Protein is this is a program that's been around for decades. It is extremely effective. It has been proven and safe to help people in their transformation of improving their health through weight loss, through reducing body fat, and again, retaining their lean mass. So Ideal Protein is a medically developed program, and one of the great benefits is when we have patients that we see with different conditions such as blood pressure problems or dyslipidemia, patients who have uric acid level problems, they have inflammatory conditions, they are suffering from thyroid problems. We have seen through the Ideal Protein program that these patients see tremendous improvement in all of these conditions. That's one of the wonderful benefits of the Ideal Protein program. You do again have a personal coach, and we give you and provide you partial meal replacements. Now, the wonderful process of the Ideal Protein program is that initially we provide you some meal replacements, but eventually we train you to take over so that you're not on any kind of meal replacement program, that you're actually cooking your own foods, doing your own thing in your own way, and not having to rely on a specific program. Now, one of the cool things about Ideal Protein is that many of the products people absolutely love, and they still want to keep some of them in their life, and that's fantastic. A great benefit of Ideal Protein is the absorbability of the protein. It is extremely absorbable. You know, most people don't know this, but when you consume, for example, a steak, your body can only assimilate about 35% of the amino acid and protein content of that. With the Ideal Protein products, you'll actually absorb about 90+% of the protein. So it's very assimilable, highly utilized by the body, and that's part of what helps you to have such incredible weight loss, fat loss with this program. So, what is a typical day in the Ideal Protein program? Well, we start off with a partial meal replacement in the morning. We do provide you supplements, and that's really important, by the way, in any weight loss program, so make sure you're getting proper supplementation. In the morning, we'll start you off with a very high-quality multivitamin and a potassium supplement, which we find with many weight loss programs, people will lose those critical minerals, and it's very important that we maintain those in your program. So you'll have a replacement meal, and one of my wife's favorites is the golden pancakes. The golden pancakes, these are great. You can actually mix a little bit of an egg white in there to actually add even a little bit more protein. But the pancakes actually have 18 grams of protein. They're very low in carbs, and you get a nice sugar-free type syrup, and it's terrific. One of the great things that you can do for the breakfast program. Then we also have you continue on in your day with more supplementation at lunch, and you can do an Ideal replacement meal there. We have some amazing chips. For example, we have the ranch chips. Ranch chips, these are great. You make a salsa, you're getting a couple cups of vegetables in your lunch and you use the chips, make a salsa, and it's fantastic. So you're getting your vegetables in. One of the key components of the Ideal Protein programs, we want to make sure that you're getting 2 cups of vegetables in at lunch and 2 cups of vegetables in at dinner. And that's an important part of the process in the program. Of course, we also continue with supplementation at lunchtime. We will get you, again, a multivitamin. We also provide you an omega-3. For dinner, we want you making your own dinner. We want a good quality protein and, again, 2 cups of vegetables. And, of course, we will further provide you some more supplementation, an omega-3 and some calcium. And then later on, you also get to have a snack. And one of my favorite snacks is the salted caramel chocolate clusters. These are actually quite tasty. 15 grams of protein, again, very low carbohydrates, fantastic. So throughout the day, you're going to be supplementing your diet with your nutritional program. You're going to have a couple of Ideal Protein products and also a snack, and of course the supplements that we provide throughout the day. So that gives you an idea of what a normal day is like. Now, with the Ideal Protein program, one of the things I love about it is that you're getting all sorts of different variations in tastes and flavors: salty, crunchy, smooth, sweet, savory. I love the fact that they have over 80 different products, and it gives you all those different sensations in the food quality. Some of them you will really like. Some, of course, you probably won't. Everybody has their favorites. Everybody has those they don't particularly care for. But there is a huge variety so that it will work for each person. So, in regards to our health, did you know that your greatest defense is to have good health? You know, we've seen lots of things happen in our country, suffering from this recent epidemic and pandemic that we have seen. The best thing you can do is get your body mass index down. You know, when we look at those who have succumbed to coronavirus, nearly 8 out of 10 have been in an elevated body mass index. In other words, they've been overweight or obese. You want to do the single greatest thing: get your body mass index down, make sure you're getting your vitamin D, and you'll have your greatest chance for your immune system to be healthy. Your best defense is to have good health. You know, we have lots of great success stories with Ideal Protein. And here is an example from one woman, Julie. She lost 111 pounds. You see, here's the great thing about the program. It's not just a matter of losing weight, it's what it does for your life. You feel better, you have more energy, you sleep better, you don't hurt as much. Your attitude, therefore, improves. You know, my wife has personally done this program. She's lost 75 pounds. My mother-in-law has lost 35 pounds. And I have one patient right now. She is on a year-long journey and she's lost over 120 pounds. That is transformational. You will absolutely feel more confident, you will feel better about yourself, and your life outlook will absolutely change if you make the commitment to take on the journey and Ideal Protein with the coaching and the support that we provide and the variety and the incredible effectiveness and safetiness of the program makes it a great choice in making that decision. You know, some key figures you need to understand: 70-30. 70% of our country is considered overweight or obese. Now 30% appears in what they consider a normal range, but here's the interesting thing I want to share with you. Out of that 30%, many of those are suffering metabolic problems. So even though they may look good on the outside, that doesn't mean things are working well inside. Physiologically, there may be issues, and they do suffer from metabolic problems. So not only do we have an overweight problem that's resulting in metabolic problems, but even those who are underweight, due to their lifestyle, due to the things they're eating, they will have metabolic problems. And one of the great benefits of Ideal Protein is we help to affect that and restore things back to normal. Our bodies are designed to gain weight, and the traditional North American diet, unfortunately, is perfect for that. You know, you see the juicy burger it's got the cheese and all of the bread and the carbohydrates and all of the goodies and the sugars and the sauces and the ketchup and the relishes. It tastes fantastic, but the fact is it causes our body to store fat. You see, our body has a survival mechanism, and what it's trying to do is, as best as it can, survive. And one of the things it does, it will take all that fat. If you don't burn it, it goes straight into storage of fat. And when we're younger, we can get away with a lot more. We have a higher metabolism, but as we age and as we become more sedentary in our lifestyle, those pounds start to add up, and it's amazing how quickly they add when you get older. But everything you need to be healthy exists inside of you. You have the courage, you have the commitment, you just need to make the decision that that's what you want to do. You have the power to reset your body, to turn on the ability to burn that fat, to restore and get your BMI down to a healthy level. The power of life is possible and it resides within you. And one of the key things that we provide is a coach that helps you along that journey. Now, why do we crave sugar? Well, our bodies love sugar because it's a very quick energy source. Matter of fact, it's the first thing our bodies turn to burn energy. There are three sources of energy in the body, and this is the first one it likes to use, sugar. However, here's the thing. If we don't burn that sugar, it results in a big problem. First of all, there's a hormone in our body called insulin, and our insulin levels rise. And insulin has some significant impacting effects on our physiology. If our insulin level is too elevated, what it does is it locks down our fat storage, so we do not burn fat. Not only that, it starts to kick in a whole cascading effect on other hormonal issues, from thyroid to cholesterol to blood pressure to stress. All sorts of other things start having problems. So insulin is a major, what we call critical hormone, as it influences so many other things. So as our insulin rises, by the way, we also unfortunately develop what we call insulin sensitivity or insensitivity. In other words, our body doesn't work as effectively, so it takes more and more insulin to get the effect from before. So our body becomes unable to use that insulin effectively. So as insulin levels continue to rise, our fat stores continue to get locked up. We're not able to shift the sugar into the storage areas like we're supposed to, or burn it, and eventually we start suffering from diabetes and pre-diabetes. So insulin being elevated is a big problem for increasing our abdominal fat, for impacting our whole entire metabolic process and system. That's one of the key things that we at Ideal Protein focus on, is lowering those insulin levels. One of the great benefits we see, right around 10% body weight loss, is we see incredible metabolic changes. We commonly will see blood pressure drop, cholesterol levels drop, blood sugar levels drop, and what's the most amazing benefit is you also experience increased energy. Your moods improve, your self-confidence improves, your mobility improves, and those are all wonderful things. We have our patients and our clients work with their medical physician and monitor that closely, because as they get around that 10%, it doesn't matter whether you weigh 380 or 280 or 180, once you lose about 10%, you'll see all sorts of great metabolic changes happen. We have you work with your physician so that you can make sure you can either reduce, if possible, or maybe even be fortunate enough to eliminate the need for those medications. We had a colleague, actually he's a friend of mine, who began the program. He was told he was going to need to go on his blood pressure medication. That's why he reached out to me. And he doesn't live in the area, so we actually worked with him through Zoom, which is one of the great benefits of Ideal Protein. We actually can do that. And he called me the other day, and he was sharing his results of his program. He has lost 35 pounds. He is no longer needing to go on the blood pressure medication, and he is happy as he has been in years, with more energy and vitality than he can remember. And that's exactly what this program can do for you. We do have a modern day epidemic. It's called the metabolic syndrome. You see, one of the unfortunate processes when we have this increase in body fat, we have this elevated insulin levels, it dramatically impacts many hormonal processes, and we'll see abdominal obesity, so we start accumulating fat around the midsection. We see high cholesterol. We see prediabetes and diabetes with blood sugar levels being elevated. We see high blood pressure that happens. Conditions such as elevated uric acid, which leads to gout, fatty liver disease, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and even chronic inflammation. And let me touch base on that for just a moment. Chronic inflammation is at the root cause of every degenerative condition in the human body. And unfortunately, by the way, when insulin levels are elevated, we see inflammatory factors go up. So one of the great benefits of this program is as we lower those insulin levels, as we get your diet and your lifestyle in a way that will support better physiology, your inflammatory factors go down. And that means joint aches and joint pains go down. But that inflammatory factor literally affects every aspect of your health, including your immune system. This hyperinsulinemia, when we have too much insulin around, when you couple that with insulin resistance, which means your body's not responding to insulin effectively, this is when we develop a carbohydrate intolerance, and this is when we start having those massive blood sugar issues. And unfortunately, that's where the diabetes process begins. So let's take you through a normal situation with an individual who decides they want to lose weight, and they go through the normal, let's cut the calories and do the exercise thing. And let's take a look at their process. Let's say they burn 2,000 calories in a day. So we're going to lower their ratio of intake to 1,500 calories. That means they're going to have 500 calories they're going to be burning. Then they're going to exercise. And let's say they burn 350 calories in their exercise. So they have a net loss of 850 calories a day. So you're thinking, great, we're going to lose a lot of weight. Well, here's the problem. You see, we have three storage or three fuel sources in our body. One is fat, one is protein, and one is sugars. And the problem is when we cut the calories, what people don't realize, especially if they're consuming too many carbohydrates, the carbohydrates elevate the insulin levels. When insulin goes up, remember, it locks down our fat stores. So our body doesn't go to burning the fat. You think because you're reducing your calories and you're working out, you're going to burn your fat. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. In many cases, what ends up happening, because people are consuming too many carbs and too many simple sugars, they've reduced their calories, they're starving, they're working out, but they've actually done something metabolic in their body that locks down their fat stores. So what do? They burn protein. They actually burn lean mass. So you see that person working out in the gym who's starving themselves, unfortunately they're running on burning their muscles. So we need to get away from doing a program that's starving our body and forcing it to store the fat. You see, what we want to do is reduce the carbohydrates. What we want to do is limit the fat intake. And we want to actually increase the protein. We don't want excessive proteins. And by the way, that's one of the negative effects of a do-it-yourself keto program. There's usually way too much fat, which isn't good for you either. That's a big difference between a nutritional ketogenic program and a do-it-yourself keto program. We want to get the ideal amount of protein and get a protein that's easily absorbable for the body. That way your body can metabolize that protein and have it there to keep your lean mass healthy. We lower the insulin levels, and you know what that does? That unlocks the fat stores. So if we don't have the carbs around, we don't have the simple sugars, and we're providing our body with adequate amounts of good, highly assimilable protein, guess where your body's going to go to burn? It's going to go to that fuel source, the fat, and you're going to burn the fat. We see women lose between 2 to 3 pounds of fat a week on this program, men 3 to 5. It is incredibly effective, and the neat part of the process is we know you're burning fat, not lean mass. So what you see here is a chart kind of showing you different types of diets. The one on the far left is the regular balanced diet. And you can see we have our percentage of carbs and fat and protein. That's a fairly balanced diet. Now when somebody goes into a hypocaloric diet, you see that they reduce their proteins and their fats, but they also reduce the carbs, but again, the balance is off. And this is again what's going to lock down that fat store. So although this will cause a loss of weight, it's not going to be the type of weight that we want to lose. Now the do-it-yourself keto, as you take a look at that graph and that chart, you can see there's a massive amount of fats. Now they do lower carbs, but they take an enormous amount of fats and not enough protein, which again is not the most healthy thing to do for our body. But with a nutritionally balanced ketogenic program, you actually have a good high quality amount of protein, not too much protein, but a good quality amount of protein, a very highly assimilable protein. We limit your fats and make sure that it's good fats, and also limit your carbs and make sure they're good carbs. And that's how you unlock those fat stores and get the great benefit. And one of the other keys I will mention, and this is an unfortunate process for many people as they start to try and lose weight, they do not take into consideration taking minerals and vitamins. And if you're cutting your calories, if you're cutting your program, you need to make sure you're getting proper minerals and vitamins and nutrients. Otherwise, you'll be robbing your body of the important physiologic needs that it requires to maintain health. So Ideal Protein combines a medically designed ketogenic protocol with one-on-one coaching. We want to spare the muscle loss by supplying adequate amounts of protein and a very highly assimilable protein. We want to reset the body to burn fat while retaining the muscle. And we want to make sure that we replace the vitamins and minerals that you miss from certain foods and supplements, since we are reducing the calorie intake. This is low carb, it is low fat, and it's high quality protein, but it's incredibly, incredibly effective. As we go through this process, there's 3 phases to the Ideal Protein program. First, we have what we call phase 1. This is where we focus on weight loss. And we'll set a goal, and we will actually limit your physical activity. We don't want you working out super heavy. Now, for those that do want to work out and maintain their workouts, we will accommodate for that, and there's certain things we can provide to make sure that you have nutrients to support that. But for most people, we want to limit their physical activity in this phase 1 because we're really wanting to focus on the burning the fat. Once we get you through that, we move you into what we call stabilization. This is where we start to introduce carbohydrates back into your diet. And we work with you and teach you how to view foods differently. We want you to understand the macros, protein, carbohydrates, and fats, and you will start categorizing foods by that way. And we will learn how many of each of those elements you can have for your particular body, for your particular metabolism. You know, the other day I was at a store and they had these really good looking ribs. And I picked up the package. Now, ribs is meat. This should be a protein. But when you read the package and you read the label as to carbohydrates and fats and proteins, it was actually a carbohydrate. It was so laced with sugars and sweeteners in there that it actually had more grams of carbohydrate than it did protein. You have to be careful. Most people would look at that and say, oh, this is a protein. Well, unfortunately, it wasn't. It was a sugar. That's part of our problem that we're facing in our society today. So as we go through the stabilization, we're going to teach you how to take over the meals. You're going to replace another one of the IP meals with your own food. And then eventually we go into a maintenance where you have taken over all of the meals. You understand your macros, you understand what you're supposed to eat, and you're just maintaining that difference and change that we have made physiologically for you. So the beautiful part of Ideal Protein is we don't just stop and you go on your way, because if you do that, you know you're going to go right back to what you were doing before. We want to train you, educate you, and help you so that you can make a smooth transition so you can maintain these results into your future. So let me summarize by sharing one of the most beneficial processes to the Ideal Protein program, and that is the fact that there are over 80 delicious food types. You know, another one of my favorite food types is this one right here. They have a pre-made, what they call ready-made shake. This is vanilla. This is one of my favorite ones. It's got 20 grams of protein. It's only got a couple grams of carbs. It's easy, it's quick, it tastes good, and it really is filling. When you get adequate protein, and by the way, you'll learn this if you don't already know this, if you get good, adequate protein, you aren't as hungry. So one of the great benefits of the program, they have ready-made shakes, they have again, salty, they have sweet, they have savory, they have crunchy. They have all those different flavors and textures that are important, because if you don't have variety, you are not going to stick with it. And that's one of the great benefits, is I know that we'll have something that you like and something that you can utilize that will support you on your journey through the process. So the secret to success is the effort and energy you're going to put into it, but also the support you receive from one of our coaches. You know, our certified coaches are there to educate you in the process, but also to support you, because we all know that this is going to be an up and down journey. It's going to be a challenge, and sometimes it's not easy. But if you have someone who's been through it, someone who knows exactly what you're going through, and someone who's been trained to help you to come up with ideas and provide different recipes or different suggestions, you can make it. And that's one of the great benefits of the Ideal Protein program, is you will always have that person who's been through it and been through the program who's there to help you. So what's next? You've now had a brief introduction to the program. You understand the nutritional ketogenesis process, and you've learned a little bit about Ideal Protein. So what we want you to do, if you're interested in this program, is simply reach out to us, contact us and we'll set up an initial consultation. And we can do this in person or we can do it by Zoom. And we can meet you and go over your history. We'll find out if this is a program that you are a candidate for, and if we can help you, we will introduce you to the program, we'll set a goal, and we'll begin the journey together. You know, Hippocrates once said that one of your greatest wealth is that of your health. And that is so true. You know, no matter what it is you love to do, whether it's spending time with your significant other, your children, your grandchildren, whether you love to go hiking, skiing, boating, or traveling, no matter what it is, without your health, you can't either A, do that, or B, fully enjoy or participate in that. And I will tell you, and I'm sure you can attest to this, especially if you are a person who struggles with your weight, you know for a fact that that is very true. So I encourage you to take the step. Reach out to us. Let's get you coordinated to have a consultation with our certified Ideal Protein coach, and let's begin this journey together. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to meeting you in person. Have a great rest of your day.